December 3rd, 1818. Prairie Ascendant. Illinois entered the United States when President James Monroe signed the congressional resolution that confirmed the territory as the 21st state. This action marked the end of a territorial period that had begun in 1809 and set a clear point of transition from a frontier district to a political unit with full representation in the federal system. The event carried significance for national expansion, internal development, and the balance of free and slave interests in the early 19th century. Delegates met in Kaskaskia in August 1818 to draft the first Illinois Constitution. Their work produced a document that established a governor, a bicameral legislature, and a state judiciary. The Constitution met federal requirements, but it reflected the social conditions of the region. It identified Illinois as a free state while allowing existing slaveholding arrangements to continue under the label of indentured servitude. This decision created a legal framework that restricted the growth of slavery but did not end bonded labor already present. The text showed the ongoing influence of Southern migrants who settled in the early communities along the Mississippi and Ohio rivers. Congress adjusted the proposed northern boundary of Illinois before approving statehood. Nathaniel Pope, the territorial delegate, argued that the border should extend to the southern tip of Lake Michigan rather than align with the boundary of Indiana. Congress accepted that recommendation. The decision brought a large area of prairie and future economic centers into the state. This change also positioned Illinois to build transportation links that reached the Great Lakes and connected interior trade with eastern and international markets. The altered boundary later allowed the rise of Chicago, but in 1818, it simply ensured strategic access to valuable waterways. Population was a central factor in the admission process. A federal requirement called for at least 40,000 residents, but contemporary counts placed the territorial population slightly below that mark. Territorial leaders produced enrollment lists from the state militia to demonstrate that Illinois met the standard. Congress accepted those records. Most residents lived in the southern part of the territory, near Kaskaskia, Shawneetown, and scattered farming settlements. The northern prairie remained lightly populated due to unfamiliar terrain and the difficulty of early agricultural methods on grassland soils. The demographic reality shaped political power during the first years of statehood and helped maintain Southern influence in legislation. The admission of Illinois played a part in the broader pattern of national expansion into the interior of North America. The new state strengthened federal authority in a region previously shaped by native nations, fur trading networks, and earlier French and British control. The United States had acquired the land through the Northwest Ordinance Framework and subsequent treaties, and the statehood decision advanced federal goals for organized settlement. Statehood granted Illinois 2 senators and 1 representative at first, giving residents a voice in national debates at a time when issues of land policy, internal improvement, and slavery dominated public discussion. Illinois faced immediate challenges as a new state. The capital at Kaskaskia stood on a site vulnerable to flooding. Government officials worked in small rented spaces that reflected limited financial resources. Legislators soon considered more central locations to accommodate expected population growth. This led to the choice of Vandalia as the second capital in 1819. The move indicated the shift of settlement patterns northward as migrants from the eastern states began to occupy prairie lands. These early institutional changes marked the state's efforts to adapt quickly to changing economic and geographic pressures. The period following statehood brought steady population increases. Settlers learned to work prairie soil by using stronger plows and improved agricultural techniques. River systems such as the Illinois and Mississippi supported trade, while federal land policy encouraged small farming communities. This growth reinforced Illinois' identity as an agricultural state and laid the foundation for future industrial and transportation development. The statehood of Illinois in 1818 carries historical significance because it expanded the United States into a central section of the continent, secured a key geographic position, and revealed early tensions over labor and law. The decisions made during the admission process influenced political structures, settlement patterns, and regional power. The boundary extension, the Constitution's treatment of servitude, and the early demographic landscape shaped the course of a state that would later become a center of commerce, agriculture, and national political life. The event stands as a clear example of how federal policy, local leadership, and geographic strategy combine to produce long-term consequences for national development. For enthusiasts of historical ephemera, visit history-collectors.com to find collectibles that might complement your collection. You can own a piece of history.